Okay, a little hack that I've learned over the years, and you learn the hard way with this. So take it from me, don't learn the hard way because it hurts. It hurts to be injured. It's mentally, it hurts. It's frustrating to be injured. It's frustrating to be sick because you've overtrained, but people do it. And it especially happens when you're flying in training. And I've had this conversation a few times this last week. When you're flying in training, you're usually, as a byproduct, you've lost weight, and therefore you get in towards race shape. You're trying to be greedy with fitness, and then all of a sudden the wheels fall off and you have a race in 3-4 weeks. So it's too late to fix the issue before, and then you're trying to dig yourself out of a hole. Mentally, you kind of knock yourself because you're desperate to be able to get on the start line. Running is all about consistency. It's all about piecing together training sessions gradually over the weeks, recovering really well, making sure that you've got your easy runs and recovery runs as slow as they need to be, really slow effort, so your body's able to recover properly, and then hitting the hard sessions, interval session for speed, the long run for stamina endurance, hitting those at the right effort levels, being able to put as much effort in as you need to, but not overstep the mark, and then consistently putting that together for 10, 12 weeks. And then before that, getting fit. So you might have 6 weeks, 8 weeks, even 12 weeks getting fit before you start the session. So there's a lot of time there that you need to dedicate in order to get on the start line. So you want to make the start line because you want to know, first of all, you want to be part of the party, yeah? But second of all, you want to know where you stand right now. So the greatest piece of advice I can give you around this is just think of things in terms of risk reward. If I do this session, yeah, you get to post it on Strava or maybe Instagram that you've ran, a long run after only doing a race a couple of days ago. There's nothing impressive about that. There's no gold medal for the fastest person to recover after a race or the fastest person to recover after an interval session. It's about consistency over long times, and it's about kind of making it happen for yourself, being able to be there on the start line. So what I would do after a hard session, after an interval session, I force myself to do this now. After an interval session and after a long run, especially if I've put specific race pace efforts or faster than race pace efforts into the long run, I know that my body's going to be a bit beat up the day after. So what I'll do is I'll force myself to walk until I feel ready to run the day after. So I wake up the day after an interval session, just like today. I'll wake up and I'll be like, okay, how does my body feel? So I'm feeling a bit tense. I'm feeling a bit tight. My calves feel a bit tight. Yesterday was a hill session. I can feel it a little bit in my quads even because I've been picking my leg up. I can feel it in my hamstrings and my glutes. So I'm just going to go out there, and the objective is just to walk, yeah? And usually what happens after about a kilometer and a half, so that's about 10-15 minutes walking, then I'll start to feel like I could jog really, really slowly. And I want to jog because you've laid your kit out the night before, and this is the little trick in your head. You've laid the kit out the night before. You know you did an interval session, so you know your body is going to be a little bit sore the next day. But the key is that doing something today, even hiking or even walking, is going to improve your recovery time. So tomorrow is going to be a lot easier. So just by laying your kit out and getting into your running gear, you're going to go out there and walk, but you're going to be eager to run. And the discipline is holding yourself back. For me, it's always been holding myself back. It's not a case of doing the work. I've always wanted to do the work, so I always want to be out there. It's a case of holding myself back. So I'll go out there and walk for 10-15 minutes, and when I feel ready to run, I will tell myself, right, you're gonna run as slowly as you possibly can for a minute. Just for a minute, as slowly as you possibly can. And that will be, it's not painfully slow anymore because you've got to move away from that. You've got to think, this is helping me recover. This is raising my heart rate a little bit. It's pumping more blood around my legs, and my legs flushing out those toxins. My legs are recovering faster and fuller. So the next day is going to be easier. The next day after that is going to be easier. Then I'm going to be able to go hard again. And it's all about piecing together those hard sessions. But the magic is in the recovery runs, is in the easy runs, is getting yourself ready for those big sessions. So today will probably look something like, I'm going to walk for 10-15 minutes. And then I'm gonna do some dynamic stretching, easy dynamic stretching. I'm gonna see how the legs feel. They're probably gonna feel better after the walk. And then I'm gonna jog for a minute, super easy. And then after that, I'm gonna feel like, do you know what, I'm gonna jog for 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 4 minutes, really, until I feel as if, okay, that's it's starting to come around. And then I'll just go into a gentle recovery run. And that might last 4, 5, 6 kilometers. It doesn't matter how long you're out there. What matters is, it doesn't matter how far you go. Sorry, it doesn't matter if you go 4, 5, 6K. Forget about numbers. Like, running is not about how many kilometers you can do. Running is about the consistency over weeks in terms of putting those key sessions together and then being able to achieve, making sure those sessions are specific to the goal, and then making sure you can get on the start line and try to achieve it. And the greatest thing is that if you can get on the start line, say you're doing a marathon and you're trying to do 4 hours for the marathon, if you run for 33K, and with 10K to go, you have to slow down. The wheels fall off, something's gone wrong, maybe stomach problem, maybe cramps, whatever it is. You've learned for 33K, so you've succeeded for 33K, and now you're gonna go through something. For the next 10K, it's initially problem solving on the go, yeah? And then the next time, when you get to the end, you're gonna know that feeling, and you're never gonna forget that feeling. Because when you've got it wrong, and you've got something wrong within it, it's just, you kind of win or learn. You don't win or lose, you win or learn. So you learn from those final 10K, and you realize that, okay, it was a nutrition issue, it was a breakfast issue, it was a fueling issue, it was, I've not done so much on my intervals, so I wasn't used to be doing that kind of, using those biomechanics to go that pace. It was a long run issue. I wasn't used to going over 33K, or I wasn't used to going over 3 hours. So you kind of succeed for the distance that you're out there, and then something's happened, and it's just something you need to fix. And that's life. That's why running is so beautiful, because it is just life. It's a great metaphor for life. So that comes from consistency. You're not able to get on the start line unless you're good at recovering, because those hard sessions are going to take it out of the body, especially if you've got to be putting the water in. You've got to be able to hydrate yourself. You've got to know how much it takes. You've got to kind of monitor your urine. You've got to make sure your urine is clear or next to clear, yeah? You've got to be eating the right foods. You've got to be eating the right amount of foods, the right amount of calories, the right macronutrients. You've got to make sure you know what it feels like to be fully recovered. And then you've got to get used to that feeling. And then, especially on the days after hard sessions and long runs, go out there and just walk. Walk until you're ready to run. Because especially the day after, if you can walk even for 30 minutes the day after, you're going to recover much faster, and it's going to pump that blood around the legs. You're going to be in your race kit, you're in your running kit, and then the next day is going to be so much easier because you're used to doing that. But don't put pressure on yourself to make a big overall weekly number. It's not important. Okay, good luck with that, and yeah, see you.